Wow, this has never happened before in my 10 years of breeding queens, creating new colonies. My third virgin queen that I confirmed has also started laying. It is May 26th. These are my notes for the last 4 years. This is my fourth year in this notebook. I've got other notebooks, but I didn't have time. 2020. See, I had a red means failure, green, and then red, it failed later, but red, green. The green means it was successful. I didn't have any successful until first week of June. So we're looking at, and then we go to some other stuff here. 2021 mating nukes. 2021 virgin queens. Red, red, red. And these are the end of May. 5/31 is when I determined they were no good. No virgin queen. They get lost. Look at all the red. This is the year I created over 100 new laying queens. And then we had a bad spring in 2022. This is a year ago now. Look, red, red, red. Look at all the red. So here we are, now 2023. I'm not making this up. This is my notes. I have no reason to lie. I've never lied before. I admit my colonies did a piss poor job of creating virgin queens. A lot of the queen cells failed, but the few that did create virgin queens have been successful in getting those queens mated. If you are a beekeeper and you are buying queens, you are very foolish. You're wasting your money. I currently am the largest beekeeper in my area. The commercial beekeepers don't come back until mid-June. Again, it's May 26th. I have currently, I think, 198 colonies. I'm going to do another 125 or so this weekend, depending on the size of the colony I'm getting ready to split. And we just had temperatures around 30 degrees overnight. Hopefully that's the last time until this coming fall. And then you see, these are my larger colonies. And anything that has a medium is queen right. Anything with no medium either has queen cells or a virgin queen. And I make notes. 110 has a virgin queen. And I verified that on 5/21. So I try to keep track of what's going on the best I can. This one here, I didn't remove the shim. It has I remember it has a virgin queen and it's a large colony. I didn't take the shim out. Okay, there's 66, 5/23. But 110 doesn't have a shim. But anyway, hopefully it'll warm up and I won't have to worry about them getting cold anymore. But what I'm getting at is, I don't buy honeybees. I don't buy queens. This is the funnest part of beekeeping, creating new colonies. To open a mating nuke to see if you have a laying queen or not is the most exciting thing I've ever done in my life. Maybe I'm a little bit strange, but that's just the way I feel about it. To spend money, well, I'll show you something here in a second. Okay, here are 3 things that I stopped doing. And since I stopped doing them, I have been more successful at beekeeping than ever before in my 10 years of beekeeping. See, I got more bees over here, and I've got some bees on my deck, and I got some along the wall here. Okay, let me explain to you the reason why. This is a package of bees. This is probably a 2-pound package. The commercial beekeepers, they requeen their colonies every year. So they'll take those old bees that are all wore out and toxic chemicals have caused them to be unhealthy, and they take that queen that they had in that colony and they'll put that in a package and they sell it to you, because commercial beekeepers requeen the colonies every year because the queens will die because of the toxic chemicals, all right? So it's better for them to requeen, and they don't want to kill that queen. It's a loss of money, so they put that queen in a package. And I bought some, okay, number 2 here. I bought some queens from Foley's Russian Bees. Foley's Russian Bees, okay? They're supposed to be Russian queens. I had 2 orders. The first order, I was successful at getting some overnight UPS next day air, but I feel like 2 or 3 of those died in a small order. I can't remember the exact numbers. But the second order, I went ahead and I did. 6 of them were dead the day I got the package, and then I put the rest of the queens in the colonies. Now, these were colonies that used to be packages a month or so previous that I took, and I split the colony, and half of those were Italian or whatever. Half of those Italian queens died later that summer, and those bees had varroa mites. And when I put these packages in, I did it along my garage wall here, and half of the bees flew out, did cleansing flights, and ended up on my garage roof and died. So basically, I ended up with small colonies and some regular size, medium sized colonies. It was a disaster. I had 14 packages I did all at the same time. What a disaster. I'll never do it again. Never ever will I buy a package of honeybees, okay? So basically, I bought these packages, and I was going to split them a month or so later for these queens from Foley's Russian Bees. So I did one order. It turned out okay. I wouldn't say it was great. So I did another order. And this is the well, there was 6. There were 6 queens in here, virgin queens that were dead on arrival. And this is old. He had a sponge in here. And he had the queens in the cage with no workers. Again, I think it's like 24 or something like that. You can get a maximum of 28 in here. And the sponge is supposed to have all the, the liquid and or whatever, the sugar water for the workers to feed the queen. But what happens is, there are only 2 screens on this box. And if this box gets shoved up against something like that, guess what? There's only 1 ventilation hole. In the middle of summer, it gets hot. And the bees get so hot, they want out. And they're not concerned with feeding those queens anymore. Those laying queens. I don't know if I said virgin queens, but they're not concerned with feeding those queens anymore, and they want to get out. So they didn't cover the screen trying to get out, and that causes the box to get even hotter. So on arrival, next day air, I had 6 queens that were dead, and the rest of them were still alive, and I put them in the colonies. And then a week or so later, I checked, and there were queen cells on most of these colonies. Only 2 or 3 out of an order of 26 or so, 24, actually produced a new colony. The rest of them died later after they were installed in the new colony, and I could not get a refund on those. So I couldn't get a refund on my second order from Jason Foley's Russian Bees. A waste of money. Okay, and then the third thing here is, back when I was buying queens from other people, I thought, okay, I'd take some existing colonies I had and I'd graft from the best queens. And then I would buy queens to get new genetics. And then I realized after I said I wasn't going to buy queens anymore, if I kept doing this, breeding from my best queens, I would get inbred. Line-bred bees like Russian honeybees, they keep weeding out the worst ones that aren't good with varroa mites, so they get inbred. And then a hybrid, this is Bee Source has already said this, a hybrid is better than line bred, but anything after a hybrid is no good, which I disagree. I've been breeding my own queens this was 2017 when I bought Foley's Russian Bees queens. Since then, I haven't bought any queens from anybody, and now it's 2023. So it's basically 5 years or so that I've been breeding my own queens. And I wait for the commercial beekeepers to come back in mid-June, and I continue doing my mating nukes to get some of his new genetics, because he brings back new bees every single summer. So I can get new genetics from him, but I also make sure that I try to get a queen from every existing colony that I have. And let me explain to you another issue you guys are doing wrong. Okay, these 3 colonies here haven't been split yet. This colony has been split, and this colony has been split. And how do I know? Well, when I split a colony and they still have enough bees, I don't take out too much, I'll give them their second deep. And this colony here hasn't grown enough to get a second deep. And I gave this colony a week ago 1 frame of brood. I gave them, I don't have my hive tool. Let me get this open. I gave them 1 frame of brood from another colony a week ago. I didn't want to give them too much. I just gave them enough so that I could split them down to 1 mating nuke. Some colonies, the large colonies, I'll get 2 mating nukes out of, or maybe 3. But the small colonies, I will do just 1 mating nuke. Why? Because if you are equalizing your colonies, say you're taking from the strong colonies, giving to the weak, to try to make them all equal, you are punishing your good colonies by taking away from them and giving to the poor colonies. Some of these poor colonies may have a poor quality queen, or they may be having a hard time. 49, I look to see how many eggs there are. That queen was doing a great job laying, so I decided, okay, I'll help her out. But I have some queens that aren't really doing that well laying, and they may be older, or they're just not good quality. Don't penalize your good colonies by taking away too much. This evolution, you know, you want, I don't graft for my best colonies. I don't want them to be inbred, but I also don't want a poor quality queen to produce a lot of new colonies. If a colony is no good, they won't make it through the year, and they also won't do a good job of creating a new laying queen. So basically, let me pause this. All right, basically, don't penalize your good colonies by taking away from them and putting them in poor quality queens colonies, and you'll end up with a colony that doesn't grow. So just go ahead and keep colonies the same size, and that's all I got to say. Okay, thank you.